Okay, hey, yo, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, let's go.
I'm Ragini, a director at Jubilee, and have been making videos here for over a year.
It's kind
For
of cute.
those who can't tell, I'm an Indian, and in fact was born and raised in India. So to bring some shows back to my roots,
Just even
I
know.
flew to New Delhi and shot a few episodes with the help of a great crew. Very excited to share the first chapter of Jubilee in India.
When I'm speaking to someone, I'll open up layer by layer.
Do you really want to commit to a lifetime of staying with someone before you've really discovered all the layers of the person?
Yeah.
Because, 3 layers down, you might
Okay.
realize that you found a layer that's a deal breaker.
My whole goal is hopefully that someone actually has like some form of
When
statistics that they know.
started
'Cause I don't know
the
much
process
about
of
it.
arranged marriage, I was 25, and when I got married, I was 29.
Arranged marriages is a beautiful concept because it just expands your horizon to meet more potential people.
I got arranged marriage when I was 21, and I think that was very, very young. We parted ways because we grew differently.
What do y'all think? Are y'all pro or against it?
I do agree that arranged marriages are an entire spectrum,
She
which
is
also
pretty.
do include marriages which are autonomous, and
So
the
I'm
choice
telling
is
you,
given to
bro,
the bride and
Indian
groom
women,
to
bro.
say
Indian
no
women.
or to say yes. But by and large, I think agency is non-existent.
That setup does not give you the structure or the framework to explore the other person's values and beliefs and priorities.
So I had a love marriage, but of course we grew apart. But it also gave me a lot of insight into my own self, that what did I want?
I really feel it was one of the most beautiful relationships I've ever had.
Wait, did they dead ass just go to India and be like, hey, you wanna do this video? Like that's it's a crazy fucking thing.
Hi, I'm Reena. I'm a shoe designer, a polo player, and a DJ, and I'm pro-arranged marriage.
Hi, I'm Pankri. I'm 35 years old, and I'm a makeup artist, and I'm pro-arranged marriage.
Hi, I'm Pradyuman. I'm 31 years old. I am a jewelry designer. I'm an entrepreneur, and I was a participant in Indian matchmaking. I am pro-arranged marriage.
Hi, I am Astha. I am 22 years old. I am an aspiring musician.
We're the same age. Hey, oh wait. But hit me up. We can talk.
Hi, I'm Akanksha. I'm 32 years old, and I work for American Express, and I'm anti-arranged marriage.
I'm
American
Sudhir.
Express?
I'm
Oh,
47.
like the credit card company.
I'm an architect and a trainer, and I'm anti-arranged marriage.
Damn, he's an architect? WW, bro. I love me some architects. man.
Arranged marriages are an outdated
engineers.
concept. If you agree, please
Is it
step forward.
outdated? I don't think it's outdated. I was gonna say I don't even think they would say it's outdated, but I guess they're saying. I guess if you're against it, I guess.
We've evolved.
Because
the
there's-
societies
there's-
have evolved.
there's use
a
for
lot
it.
about freedom and expressions, and I want to have those fulfillment. So I think in today's times, it's gone out of context.
The aspirations, regardless of the genders, are changing. How do you fit into those boxes, those pigeonholes? You cannot expect that I change my entire sense of style, my personality, the way I express myself just because I've married you. What the hell is so special about you?
Yeah. The gender bias is it's so painfully obvious. I would never voluntarily put myself in a position where some stranger can just come, evaluate my character, my market reputation, put me under labels like too dark, too thin, too fat, whatever. And actually, I was having a discussion with my best friend last night. I was telling her how excited I am to be having this conversation today. And she told me that when she was young, when she was 7 or 8, she herself was involved in these potential bride visits of her uncle. They used to go to some prospective bride's house and not even talk, just observe her. And then in the car ride back home, the entire conversation would almost always center only around her physical attributes. Her belly was showing, so there were some stretch marks there. And just imagine the kind of imprint it would have had on a girl who's just 7. And she says that she still carries the insecurities that were bred because of that.
Okay, something I'm gonna say is I think none of that shit sorry, I can't speak. I don't think any of that shit really matters. Something, and pretty much all men can say this, is that I stand very firm in the fact that I don't believe it really matters at all with when it just comes to women. Honestly, just humans really in general, but women more so than men. insecurities are just like it's just something about women that they're just always insecure about something. And it's fine. Like I don't it doesn't matter. But it's always like they're always trying to put the blame on why they have an insecurity on someone else. And that's the part where I'm like, I mean, like I get it. Like, okay, a portion of this can be attributed to me, sure, yeah, but like you still have the choice, right? If I fucking slap you, you still have the choice to retaliate or to not retaliate. You know what I mean? It's still up to you to decide whether or not you're being insecure about this and or not. You know? It's not like it's like well, you've made me this, and I'm this for the rest of my life, and I can't change this. No helping me. Like now I have to go through all these type of disorders, living my life. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's still a fucking, and it takes too much accountability off of them, which I think is part of why women.
Can we have the disagreeers come forward?
It's not like women are less insecure when there's not an arranged marriage as opposed to when there is. So it's like even bringing up the insecurity isn't really an argument point that would matter significantly. So it's just too insignificant to matter.
Globally, arranged marriage is 60%. In India, it's still 90% with 1% divorce rate. Whereas
Oh, dead ass? I didn't know that. Maybe, damn, I need to see. I be telling people like they need to fucking leave the states, but like shit, I didn't know it was 55% for global.
Okay, I've been on the online dating apps as well. I'm having a great conversation with this girl. It's going wonderful, like soulmate.
Stats prove that in like a lot of different areas. What I was saying, by the way, you can like look that up.
Kind of conversation, right? One day, my data is off. I'm in some no network zone. Okay, she thinks that okay, what's happening? There's no response to it. Like this person is not interested anymore. To continue that conversation ahead, okay, there was a drop rate of 95%. After a year, I was like, listen, I can't give so much of time trying to have this conversation with someone, and then suddenly it goes away. Arranged marriage really helps because the person is constantly obliged, okay, that speak it through. When I'm speaking to someone, I'll open up layer by layer, and that layering takes always some time. And when you have a support in terms of someone telling you and guiding you,
I see what
it
he's
works
saying.
wonderfully.
I have a
That's
question
true.
for you.
I'm actually, I agree with him.
Do you really want to commit to a lifetime of staying with someone before you've really discovered all the layers of the person? Yeah. Because 3 layers down, you might realize that you found a layer that's a deal breaker.
Yes, but even after a love marriage, you will find layers which are always opening up.
They're always going to be
essence,
layers. You know what I mean?
think people have lost it over the period of time. It was a beautiful thing that two unknown people were made to meet one another through common friends and family. And if you liked each other, you continued the process. So that's the thing. It depends on how your family also portrays it to you. I was never pushed to go and meet a guy if I didn't like. So that thing, I think, and that is very liberal.
That's the other thing too.
I think the basic essence and the portrayal of arranged marriage should not be like, oh no, if I'm going to meet this guy, my parents are going to tell me to get marriage.
Since you use the word liberal, I just want to say that historically, a lot of arranged marriages were arranged by elders so that the caste status of the families could be maintained.
Yeah, so, of course, that still happens in outside Delhi. When you cross the borders of Delhi, it still happens.
Your case is more like a arranged love marriage.
It's not the pressure of getting married. It's the pressure that, you know what, the environment I'm meeting this person for in the first time is not a natural environment for me, right? Yeah. The guy's family is there. My family is there. I am decked up like a doll, which I am generally not. And
I'm trying to hear her out in that sense, but I don't know. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
And with your own wish.
I think that sense of agency and choice is very illusory. It doesn't actually exist.
I, being 46, I have a lot of nieces and nephews, and I, being a DJ or a polo player, I come across 25 to 35, where a lot of people want to get married. Yes. And what I see, through these apps, they're breaking their hearts. They're lying.
Seriously.
It's constant lying.
Like the
it's
social
constant
media.
hooking up. It's constant this is going on. They come back. Their heart is broken. They are in depression. But what I'm saying is why arranged marriage is coming, because after your heart is broken over these apps once,
I
twice,
completely
thrice, you confide that your parents are not going to force you, but at least do a little Reiki of that person and that family background instead of this app where people are lying. And I've also been on that app.
Yeah, that's like the whole. That's pretty much the basis of the point that's generally being made. What she said.
So to be very honest, I'm the only one in my family or friends to have had arranged marriage. My experience with the arranged marriage is that it was a very exciting period. We became friends, we got to know each other, our families knew each other, the culture was similar.
So there has been a mix of arranged marriages and love marriages in my friends and my family. Most have been arranged marriages, and by God's grace, all of them have been doing very well.
Arranged marriages perpetuate religious and caste divisions.
Obviously, I talk about this whole thing with my family members a lot also. And I was talking about how autonomy is so important to me and I will only marry a person of my own choice. And they said that, kisi se bhi kar lena, bas Muslim na ho. What is that supposed to mean? I mean, why do honor killings happen? So yes, I do believe that they definitely perpetuate caste divisions, religious divisions.
So my personal experience is, my husband, he's from a Surd family. My father-in-law ties a turban and they go to the Gurdwara. So my thoughts were this only, that, you know, arranged marriage will have you divided into caste and, you know, have you coming from different communities, and I will have different ways, religious expectations and all. But when I got married to my husband and we had an arranged marriage, till date, they have never asked me to understand or to start learning their language. If the families and everybody is liberal and open about it, you can have intercaste marriages and they are successful.
To make my stand clear, I am pro intercaste marriages. If you meet the right person at the right place at the right time. My only thing is that the human nature breeds on familiarity. Today I'm traveling, I see an Indian, we automatically become friends wherever we are going, right?
Right. That's supernatural. People be like acting weird about it, but like, yeah, it is. Every race does this, bro. Like I see another black person, it's like, oh, yo, what's good, my bro?
Concept of arranged marriage is to meet the people whom you're familiar with, right? And in most cases, the familiar people are people of the same societies, from the same caste. So that is the reason I don't see it as actually perpetuating religious divide. I see it that because people are familiar, that is why there's like, you know, it's going to be easier.
Like, I'll just say that recently, I have a lot of younger friends in America, and their parents are also believing now, have changed over time and said, have introducing by arrange different castes. Like the Gujarati mother is introducing her through a non-Punjabi. So things are changing in arrange too.
10 years before, I told my dad, you know, that if I like a Muslim girl, what's going to happen? Like, he's like, there's no way. Like, you know how dads are like, you know, you should know where the whole family is and this and that. Yeah. 10 years down the line, he shows me a girl who's Muslim, like, you know what, I would really love you if you say yes for something like that.
Things are changing.
So things change.
I have a question for both of you. Don't you think that these...
That's pretty good, actually, though. Like, I like them. They're pretty fire.
Personal instances that you just talked about are coming from a place of a very high level of privilege and very disconnected from how things actually happen in India.
No, India also, I'll tell you. I mean, it's happening here, as he said, his own example. My cousins and their family also, we are Gujarati conservative family, they're showing their children now Punjabi boys. I mean, not Muslim yet, but
are
I'm
you
just
open
saying.
to considering that you guys are exceptions and this is not the norm?
Marriage then?
No,
I'm
an arranged marriage is simply getting two known people together whom you can vouch for. So it can be of one caste or it can be of any other caste. It does not matter.
Someone I know very closely had her marriage arranged. So her parents were in a hurry to get her married. This guy was set to have a job in a bank. Now, once they actually got married, turned out that he didn't really have that bank job. He was unemployed, actually. I think when they started running out of funds, the first thing that he did was he sold off his vehicle. The next thing that he did was he sold off his wedding ring. When she told her parents, instead of taking that responsibility, they said that you should just compromise, which just made me think that that person wasn't to find the right partnership, but it was to reduce that financial liability on the family.
Parental support is pivotal for a successful marriage.
So we do agree on that. Wait, I'm not lying. Why is there one person that wouldn't agree to that?
My personal experience, when I got married, I had a lot of adjustment issues with my in-laws. My husband could not understand my agony. So there I had to go and call my mom and ask for a lot of advices. Even when I had a fallout with my husband and, you know, there were certain problems, my mother always told me that, you know, I have your back, you can come back to me anytime. And she always told me that we are there with you no matter what, and which I think that all parents are always there, and I feel it's very important.
I actually agree to what you're saying. Me and my husband, we met through a friend, and ours is a love marriage. And for us, when our families met, they didn't really like each other so much. But his family never had a problem with me, and my family never had a problem with him. And they've been rock solid support for me and my husband. My father-in-law has always, you know, built me up. I mean, if me and my husband fight and my father-in-law finds out about it, he's probably going to side with me. And my father, he sees my husband like a second son, and it makes life so much easier.
In my opinion, it's always
Definitely.
a good point to, you know, at least have your family as the team to make a decision. They're always going to wish well for you. You sit down and explain that I really love her. I really want to be with her. And, you know, I will see myself happy with her. And I'm sure there are people, maybe the first time they disagree, but over the time, if they see that you're persistent, it works.
Yeah. My parents have been my best friends since age of 5, you know. There's nothing that I don't talk to her, even today. You know what I mean? If any problem would happen, I would call her up and say, Mom, now this happened. Or Mom, what do I do with this?
I've been raised in a wrong way. Why will I choose somebody or be with somebody who will not have the same values as me? I'm going to be with my partner for a longer time than I have been with my parents since I met my partner. So I want to take care of them for 60 more years. So I'm thinking there, I'm not thinking now.
Don't you get a little insensitive towards your parents? Maybe they also want to be a part when you're choosing your partner. Maybe
I'm not
they
denying
have.
that.
Suppose you have a rift with your spouse.
Yep.
And you are confused. And you ask your parents. Would you ask your parents for their opinion?
What their
Why are
problem...
we placing parental judgment on such a pedestal?
No, absolutely.
And hang on, one second. Just one more thing.
It comes from.
One second.
She asked you a
Also,
question.
if there is a rift between me and my spouse, that's an amazing opportunity for me to understand each other and grow.
No, I don't know if he's actually with a woman or not. Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But I guess he's supposed to give his dialogue. But I actually disagree with him in that sense because he's looking at it from a perspective of a man, and I think that's you know it's the only way we can really see it until you get with like women and you realize like when you go through an issue, we're thinking how do you solve a problem, right? They're just thinking about how the fuck they feel about that problem. Like they don't give a fuck about solving that problem. You know what I mean?
My parents did have an arranged marriage, and I didn't see any issues. We were brought up very nicely. There was no problems in that setup. But today, people are looking for more freedom, for more personal growth.
Marriage is primarily about love.
True love means when you accept.
What the fuck? How the fuck did people come up here? I didn't think anybody would come here. It's primarily. You're saying the main reason of marriage is love. I think it's so. I didn't think that they would think that. I'm actually really surprised that they even think that. That's more of a Western concept. Marriage was never meant to even fucking be about love. It was meant to be about like fucking business and building up a family and another family.
Your partner with all his flaws and how you tend to go on in life, keeping those things together, because after a particular time in life, it's difficult for people to change. So I think love is an overall picture. You cannot say that, no, I want a perfect partner or I wanted a perfect wife.
Yes.
No, I think what makes perfect is like your imperfections, someone
That's
who
true.
accepts you, and that is what I believe is true love.
Your children will probably get married and leave. Your friends will have their own lives and get on with them. But the one person that you decide to live your entire life with, I don't think a marriage should be for one and one thing alone, but I do think that love should definitely be one of those things.
because of an arranged marriage, and I really felt that when I got married, it was not about love. I mean, you can't just love somebody when you just meet them once or twice. And that's why I feel it's not primarily about love, it's about being friends, about knowing each other and growing to each other. And I feel in arranged marriage, love grows eventually. So that's what I feel.
So I would slightly deviate from you there because, so you said that arranged marriages are about growing together and growing into love eventually.
Yeah.
But I think arranged marriages are a huge gamble, a much bigger gamble than what a non-arranged marriage might be. Because I have friends whose parents have had arranged marriages, but there is no love in those marriages. And the stake is so big, not just your own life, but your children. I think it's a slightly bigger gamble than I myself would be ready to take.
I've met quite a few people during the last couple of years. And when you ask a girl, right, that what are you looking in marriage for? First thing is like trust. Trust is the prima thing always, the trust. And then obviously there's love, which is built from trust.
Okay.
And that gets directly reflected
I'm
on that
going to
part.
cut you there and tell you about a small anecdote, okay? My husband and I, we met through a mutual friend and we fell in love and we got married. But before that happened, my parents introduced me to multiple prospects and I trusted their assessment of this prospect and I said, fine, if you think he's the right match for me, I will go ahead, get engaged to this person. Twice, my engagement was called off for silly reasons. One guy refused to even tell me a reason why. He sends me a text at the end of the month saying, the month is over and so are we. And then when we sat down as families to talk about it, he got physical with my father. Is that fair? And is that my father's fault?
Wow.
Or can I say that I refuse to trust my father because this has happened? So this is one. This was the second guy, actually. The first one, my parents found his matrimonial ad in a newspaper. I think 2 days before the engagement, we get a call from the elder brother's wife, and she tells us that she's filed multiple cases of dowry demands and domestic violence against the entire family. How do my parents find this out?
But I mean,
we were fortunate that we found this out.
But then that's because you went through a newspaper. It was not like a common
Arranged marriage.
It's not,
Exactly.
It's not, like usually,
The idea is to get more concrete people before
usually
saying
arranged
that.
marriages happen
point is-
when you know the other family.
But this happens.
That is actually a good point on their end, though. It does normally happen with, like, okay, I know this family. Like, for example, like, if my boys were to have, like, and my parents did it as well, like, you know, there's, they got, like, their little friends or whatever, and it's like, okay, put you around, like, you know, my daughter and your daughter, like, that type of stuff. And that's like, some of the people I still talk to, like, to this day, you know what I mean? They're solid, you know. But yeah, I definitely have a lot more trust in those women. I see them, you know what I mean? Because they're too. I look at both of them. I'm just like, wow, where they are compared to where a lot of other women are. They, like, you know, they are in a good place, and they're actually not like they're not thinking like a lot of other women. I think that's a solid point that, like, the two families would know each other versus the newspaper ad where you don't know them. Like, there's you're taking extra risk. And if something comes up, you can't go and be like, well, oh, how could something happen? It should have been perfect. Like, there was risk involved, you know what I mean? Like, there was risk. There's a higher risk versus, like, if you know the person, family, and everything. You know what I mean? We all got crazy people in our family that we can go, this person right here, hey, look, man, I'll be honest with you. No. If you try to talk, no. You know what I mean?
When I came to the age of getting married, the first attempt was actually going through the path of arranged marriages, and those experiences were not nice at all. The one arranged marriage that I've seen the most closely is the one of my parents, and it's not been the smoothest of the marriages.
What I came across this process was that people are very judgmental. They objectify you as a commodity. So I was body shamed, I was rejected. But eventually I did get married. It was an arranged marriage, and my husband accepted me for what I am, who I am, irrespective of my weight, my caste, or my financial background.
I have always wanted a big fat Indian wedding.
That's a big fat. I think that's cool. I think that's fire.
At 20, I didn't know better. I wasn't very exposed. So, of course, I wanted, and I did have. I had like a whole week of whatever I wanted, you know? I mean...
Good for you, though.
It was, and because my thought was that I marry once, and I want to do it all. Of course, now my thoughts are completely different, and I feel what a waste of money that was.
Having a big fat wedding, having all the relatives around, having all the festivities, having all the Bollywood tamasha.
Exactly.
I always wanted to be the heroine because that was my time to shine. So, but I did keep it in mind, you know, that we don't overspend.
Sure.
And I realized also over the period of time that, you know, we as girls are more fascinated by the idea of the wedding rather than marriage.
I agree.
So I can never relate to a big fat wedding because for me, I've seen how we as Indians have grown. Earlier, there were small festivals, used to be all about togetherness, celebrating together. That essence is gone. In fact, I don't get to meet my relatives for years. Why should they drop in into my marriage? I don't understand that. Because I don't understand that. Instead, some of my...
He makes a point that I would agree with personally. Like, I don't care if it could just be me, you, your mom, dad, my mom, dad, brother, sister. That's cool. That's good enough.
friends and from other family people and common people have become so close to me, and we have some common interests and we have great evenings, so why should they not be involved?
I don't like big fat Indian weddings because they're breeding grounds for further arranged marriages.
That's a good one.
All aunties casually
They probably are,
scanning
I'm not
you
gonna lie.
and
Yeah.
subtly and not so subtly making remarks. I think I would rather just lay back and stay away from all that.
I would get a divorce if I'm unhappy in my marriage.
They're all here.
I am divorced, so I'm a living example of that if I'm not happy, I will, because I really believe that two people can grow apart, grow differently, and then you definitely make a choice to be happy and cut the cord when it needs to be cut.
I've been married for 5.5 years now, and first 3 years of my married life were very tough, and I did reach a point where both of us decided to get divorced. We lived 6 months separately, but things turned around and we realized that no, we should give it another shot. And coming from there, we realized what is going to give us happiness. What will make our relationship better. So yes, I did get into a situation, but I did not get divorced. We, I would say, crossed that bridge, and today I am in a much happier marriage.
So they got divorced? Like actually divorced, or they were just...
Life
you
is
don't
about
have...
priorities,
Divorce is like a process, so maybe they didn't actually get the divorce.
If there comes a point where giving up on one of your priorities literally drains the joy out of your life, then you cannot make the other person happy. Unfortunately, my parents don't have the smoothest of the marriages.
I lost my mother 2 months back, and unfortunately, when my parents had a very different marriage life, and I do believe that had my mother taken the step of divorcing and found her happiness and found herself, she would have been much more happier and maybe around us right now. I believe very strongly that if two unhappy people cannot make a happy life together. Absolutely. And to be happy with yourself, you can only give happiness to others if you are at peace with yourself, if you are happy from inside.
I think that arranged or not arranged, right? We all agreed at one point that it is very important to be happy. That's true. And I think that's the underlying fact, either which was in any relationship, whichever way you find it, whichever way you have to make it work, just be happy. And I think that I was so glad that that time no one said that, okay, happiness is something you can discount.
No, I guess he's happy that they didn't say that, but like I don't really care about happiness. Happiness comes and goes. The same thing with bad times. Like bad times they come and go, and good times come and go. The difference is that bad times are what show real you, but then the good times show like, okay, well, I mean, like it's something I've I've seen it before in like films where it's like times are good, and then somehow like say it'll be a couple, and it's like it's always like a guy that's like us war vet or something like that, or like he was like CIA or something like that. And they'll break apart, right? So say for example, Marine wife they break apart, they're not really having a good relationship, you know, being together, no hard times, then something will happen and take of the movie happens. Now he gets called back to action. He has to go and like, you know, relive his blah blah blah, shooting his stuff up and yada yada. And then like, you know, he'll end up saving her or protecting her or whatever. It's like, oh, she's all over him now because he's that like that strong masculine man. And it's like, okay, it's interesting because it's like, okay, times are bad and you realize like, okay, what really matters, right? But then times are good. Like you also, I think that's difficult too. So both I think can be said to be equally different. Times are good and when they're bad, like being to stay together and be together. But yeah, I mean that's really it. I don't want to add on too much. It's already long. Divorce rate isn't low because of arranged marriages. It's because taboo. They work hand in hand together. Divorce should be a taboo. Divorce should not be a thing that's like, yay, you divorce. Like that's the thing. Happiness is a fleeting feeling, bro. If you're always chasing, like people always talk about like, oh, chasing money, but you guys are the same ones chasing fucking happiness. And so, if someone chasing money is them chasing fucking happiness. And talk about how bad that fucking, how materialistic that is. You constantly chasing happiness is also fucking bad. It's equally as bad. You're always looking for, okay, well, it's good. I just want to feel good. I just want like, bro, any fucking a lot of shit can make you feel good. It's not the healthiest fucking thing for you. Fuck that shit. Happiness, you need to fucking be sad and be humbled and punished and be looked down upon a lot of the time. You need to earn a lot of your. That's true fulfillment, and it's like a balance, the yin and yang. Uh, that's why us men and women work so well together, bro. What women bring and what men bring, and what women think and what men think, and you know, there's clear differences for a reason. Hit the nail on the head when she's pretty clear that the we're from a high class with a lot of freedoms. It's the vast majority. I don't I don't know enough detail honestly go. So I'm gonna just chill out here. Openly just spoken over. I think that yeah, her point very clearly. Oh wait, I feel the youngest lady was open. I don't. I, maybe I just didn't watch this. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't really have much to say. I think if you're Indian, you have more. Like who the potentially cute as profile? Like she's definitely bad, right? Yeah, that's already minus 500. Like can't tell too much, but like, definitely bad, right? I don't know. I don't really have much. It's all cool. Uh, yeah, it was a good video. I don't got too much to add on. Uh, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Your boy Magic.